I thought I didn't need any more blushes, Dior goes and launches these Backstage Rosy Glow Sticks. But before you spend your money, I have every single shade to review for you here today in natural light with no filters, and of course, I will be sharing my brutally honest thoughts on the formula and whether or not it lives up to the hefty luxury price tag. Let's get into it. These are the Dior Backstage Rosy Glow Blush Sticks. They retail for a whopping $44, and they are described as pH-adjusting cream blush sticks that are both long-lasting and give a dewy glow. Before we get into the shades, I have to highlight the packaging on these blush sticks. I think Dior really brought it with these, and I'll be the first person to criticize some of the cheap packaging that they have launched in the past. These are so cute and scrumptious. Each of the sticks corresponds, or I should say the case of each stick corresponds with the color that is in the tube, and then the actual tube is embossed with this beautiful Dior oblique print. Kind of looks like a giant version of the lip maximizers. Very on brand, very Dior, but also very cute, youthful, perfect for spring and summer. I really, really like the packaging and the fact that I can tell between, or at least pretty much tell between all of the shades. These are made in France. You get 6 grams of product, and I'll also mention they are pretty fragrant. They don't have that kind of like florally scent that you usually get from Dior and other luxury brands. They actually smell like candy. They actually smell delicious. I love the scent. You know what they smell like? They smell like those, I think they're called nonpareils, the multicolored ones. They smell exactly like that. A little bit of vanilla, a little bit of sugar, and maybe just a hint of peppermint. They smell so good, but I do want to mention it just in case you don't like any fragrance in your makeup. But enough of that. I know you want to see these blushes, so let's kick things off with the shade Pink. Here is the swatch of this shade and the formula. You'll see it is a beautiful, bright baby pink. There's definitely a decent amount of pigmentation from these blushes, from all of the shades you're going to see, but it is a pretty glossy and dewy formula as it is described in the product description. So you for sure can sheer these out. So if you have a fairer skin tone, you can sheer it out. If you are a deeper skin tone, I do think that you can build these up. Personally, for me, I really only want to build them up so much, however, because I don't like too much product on my cheeks if it is going to be more of like a dewy formula. I don't find these to be super greasy, but I do want to warn you, it is a dewy formula. You're also going to see, and I feel like you can see this really, really clearly in the swatch, these do have some beautiful light reflecting particles. So not only do you get the Backstage Rosy Glow from the actual shine and dewiness of the formula, but you also get it from kind of like a little bit of sparkle. I don't notice any glitter in these, but I mean, take a look at that swatch. You can definitely see it glistening in the light, and I see that also once it goes onto the cheek. Now, how do these compare to other cream blushes? Well, I would say that these are way more dewy and sheer than the WESTMAN Atelier ones that I absolutely love. Those are probably some of my favorites. You can see right here from the swatch comparisons, and by the way, I know that the shades are not exact, but just for comparison in the formula, you can see that the WESTMAN Atelier blushes, they're more opaque. They have more of like a natural cream finish, whereas these, while they are pretty pigmented, they're way glossier and dewier, and you can sheer them out a lot more, especially if you have a more pigmented shade, which I'm going to show you in a second. I don't think they're as balmy and dewy as the Merit Flush Balms, which I know a lot of you guys have and love. I'll just mention, I don't think these are as glossy, and they are more pigmented, but they're still dewy. You're still going to get your hair caught in them a little bit when you first apply them. I also think that these are more sheer and dewier than the Rhode blushes, which I know are really popular. They're not my favorite, but they're very popular on social media. These are not going to be as pigmented, and once again, they're going to be a lot dewier of a finish. Oh, and by the way, if you happen to be enjoying this video, please don't forget to give me a big thumbs up. It really helps me out. And if you are new here, maybe consider subscribing to my channel. My name is Sophia, and I upload videos just like this every single week, all about everyday luxury beauty and accessible luxury style. I film all of my beauty videos in natural light with no filters, and we like to keep it real and fun here on this channel. So if that sounds good to you, hit that subscribe button to join our fam. We seriously would love to have you. And if you want to know where you can find these blushes, I will have a shopping guide linked down below in the description box, and also you can click on the shopping buttons on the screen. Next up, we have the Pink Lilac, which has been such a hot color this year, so I'm not surprised that they launched this one in the line. And I was really curious how this would compare up against the pink, because let me know if you agree, guys. A lot of times I buy the lilac shades and it just ends up looking pink on the cheeks. So here's a swatch comparison right there, so you can kind of see the differences between them. It definitely looks pretty lilac, more so than other blushes from other brands that I've tried. I did do a side-by-side on the cheeks just because I feel like with these two, it's helpful to see the differences between them. Comment down below. Do you feel like these are different enough that you could buy both? I think that they are, but at the end of the day, I don't know. I don't think it's worth paying $44 to get the pink lilac if you already have the pink. It is a very subtle difference, and because these are pH adjusting, they do give a little bit more of like a rosier flush. I feel like I can still see the lilac, but I mean, it is called pink lilac after all, so it's a pinky lilac. What am I saying? Is this making sense, guys? You can see the color there for yourself. Let me know if you would buy both. Next up, we have Cherry, which is a beautiful, juicy, vibrant red shade. And although this is a pretty bright color, I would say don't be afraid of this if you do have a fairer skin tone, because it's a dewier formula. You can sheer it out. It's very buildable. I actually really like this shade. It's one of my favorites out of the line. This is something that I feel like I could wear day to day as long as I don't put on too much. Doesn't make me look like a clown. I've always been a really big fan of red blush, especially in the summertime. So if you have a fair skin tone, comment down below. Let me know if this is something you feel like you could pull off. Would you wear this every day? Because while it is vibrant, I don't know. I feel like there's something very natural looking about red blush as long as it isn't too overdone. Next, we have Berry, which you probably can guess is a berry shade. This one is gonna be vibrant like cherry. I would say it's the same level of pigmentation and depth, but this is gonna be much more of a purpley color. It's a berry blush. I will say this one does look a little bit pinker on the cheeks than I thought it would because it does have that pH adjusting formula, which by the way, guys, it's not anything fancy. It's not like some fancy technology. It's just a red dye that they put in some of these products to give them a little bit more of like a rosier tone. It's not really creating any like special customized shade for your particular skin tone. It just turns a little bit pinker than what you get in the tube. So I don't know. I personally would prefer no pH adjusting, so I know exactly what I'm going to get. But I'm just warning you, I feel like this one in particular, it does turn a little bit rosier than some of the other ones in the collection. And I did notice after swatching these for a couple of hours as I was filming the demos and the swatches, I did get a little bit of like a pinky stain on my hand. So it's definitely there, but it's subtle. It's subtle. Okay, this shade I got a lot of questions about. This one is called Toffee, and I can see why so many people are interested in this one because this one is the true nude in the collection. This, I feel like a lot of people were concerned wouldn't be deep enough for their skin tone, and I will be honest, this is going to be the lightest one in the range, but I feel like this is perfectly pigmented enough for me. I think if you have a medium skin tone, this might be more like a glowy blush topper or a glowy highlighter for you, but you can see right there on my skin tone, I feel like it shows up perfectly fine. I think it's a beautiful shade. I think something else that you need to know about this shade in particular is that it does have a pretty strong gold shift. They're all glowy and light reflective, but this one in particular I noticed is extra glowy. So if you don't really like that, maybe don't pick this one up. It also does lean rather warm because it has so much of that, you know, gold reflectivity to it. I really like it because I like warmer tone blushes, but that's another thing that I want to mention about the Toffee shade. And then we have the shade that seems to be the most popular amongst my subscribers, and that is Rosewood. I can see why so many of you are excited about this one because it is a very wearable shade. It is a beautiful classic rose, and I think in this beautiful dewy formula, there's just something so lovely and feminine and romantic about Rosewood. It is a neutral, something that you can wear with a lot of makeup looks, but it brings a lot of life to the face. There is color to it. And if you're not really into the Toffee shade, which as I mentioned is quite shimmery, this might be a good alternative for you because it just doesn't have as much of that shimmer, but it's still pretty much a neutral. And lastly, we have my favorite shade, which is the one that I'm wearing on my cheeks today, and that is Candy. This is a beautiful, I guess I would describe this as a corally nude. This one also has a decent amount of reflectivity. There's also some gold shimmer in this, just like the Toffee shade. It does lean warm, which is why it is my favorite. And while it is a nude, kind of like Rosewood, like while it is a nude, it does have some color to it. It gives some beautiful life to the face. This is the perfect summer cream blush for me. I love that it's super glowy. It's a really beautiful color, but I will warn you, it does lean warm and it is a little bit more shimmery than the other ones like the Toffee shade. At the end of the day, I think Dior did a really nice job with these. I really like the packaging, I like the shades, I like the formula. I do kind of wish that they had included maybe 1 or 2 more neutrals in the line that were deeper, because we really only have the Toffee shade, and then Candy. It's kind of neutral, but it's a little bit more of a coral. So if you have a deeper skin tone, there isn't really a traditional nude color for you to wear, but we're going into summer right now, so maybe they wanted to come out with these like juicy summer shades, and maybe in the future we'll see more terracottas or a bronze, something like that. One can only hope. So that's one critique that I do have. I think that if you don't want to spend the $44, the closest thing that I have that would be a cheaper price would be those Merit Flush Balms, but again, they aren't quite as pigmented, so just kind of keep that in mind, and they do tend to be a bit balmier than this formula from Dior. These do set down a little bit. Like, I've had this one on my cheeks for a bit now as I've been filming. I don't really feel like my hair is getting stuck in it to an annoying degree, but it's a dewy formula, okay? I would say that the WESTMAN ATELIER are still my absolute favorite for every day. Those are like my ride or die, because it's gonna be a more pigmented, buildable, natural finish on the face, and I think that most of the colors they're more on the neutral side, and they're also a little bit more nuanced. But if I'm going for that juicy, dewy, how many times I'm gonna say juicy and dewy in this video? Sorry guys. If I'm going for that juicy and dewy, you know, summery type of look, I think that these are beautiful and sort of just the right amount of everything that I'm looking for. But if you don't like dewy cream blushes, then I would definitely stay away from these. But comment down below if you've tried these already. I would love to know what you think. Are you interested in these? What shade is your favorite? Comment down below and let me know. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to give me a big thumbs up and subscribe, or better yet, go watch another video. Up next, I have the 5 best and 5 worst products from Dior Beauty. I'll see you there.